I don't know how long it'll last. I'm not. No, Jason, please, Jason.
You can be all the way over to Keith, and then all the way to the piano.
Do you prefer bigger? No, it's okay.
Yes, he knew that it was he who was the happy man. Can I have your shirt? Some fish are swimming in the river. Some fish are swimming in the sea. Some fish are jumping right out of the water. Show just with show off they can be. And some birds are walking
Gong. That's my impression of a gong.
up in a tree.
I've decided we need a gong to start. Don't you think? Let's get a big gong.
Before they drop the doo-doo on
Good morning, good morning. I see we're all sort of making our way to our seat. I was making my way here running late, knowing I'm the MC and knowing that we're trying to get better about starting on time. We really are. My name is Ginny, by the way, and I'm your mistress of ceremonies today. And as I was driving and running late, I thought about one of my gurus, what he would say. Alan Watts is one of my great gurus. He would say it's all part of the dance, right? Being late, not being late, falling down when I walk up on the stage, which I didn't do, or not falling down. He would say it's all part of the dance, just dance. So I welcome you all this morning to dance. So first of all, though we want you to dance, please turn off your cell phone, even if it has a cool ring that we love to dance to. Go ahead, take a moment, silence it, if you would. We appreciate that. And we're so excited to have a guest speaker today, Kelly Robbins, who's going to talk to us about our spiritual awakenings. And we, as most of you know, have a new spiritual director, the Reverend Christina Jones, and this is her Sunday off. So Christina, if you're watching, and you don't have to be, you can watch later. I hope you are taking a break, because she's had an amazing August with us. One of the first things we also like to do is acknowledge this land where Althea sits, because it is the indigenous land of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ute peoples, and it's important for us to name that because their legacy matters. The fact that this was their sacred ground that was taken away by many of our ancestors, it makes our work that we do here more sacred. And we try to make sure that when we acknowledge, it isn't just an acknowledgement. We also try to put our money where our mouth is. And so we have organizations who share our space, who help indigenous communities. They are Spirit of the Sun and Sisters of Color United in Education, whose work through activism, programming, and education is impactful for these communities. We also try to affirm every Sunday that we are working on our diversity. So this is our statement and affirmation of diversity, that we are a community of diverse spiritual speakers, and we are trying to grow in race, gender, sexual orientation, age, ethnicity, background, and physical abilities. And we're not there yet. We are not there yet. But we are moving beyond our differences and our dichotomies because we want to embrace oneness, unity, and community. We are ever more aware of past and present biases and atrocities and are committed to being an open and safe space for seekers to further their journey on a spiritual path toward awakening the spirit of oneness in all, which is what we are about. And then we love to welcome anyone for whom this is the first time. Is this your first time to be with us? Please raise your hand. Hello, it's sitting in the front row. How brave. We have 3 people in the front row, first time. So keep the hands up, and I'll tell you why. Because we want to give you a beautiful rose, and we want to make sure that everyone knows to say hello to you. And you get to eat lunch with us today, and it's on us, if you're able to stay. We would love to have you for lunch. If you're not able to stay, the next time you come. Any other hands? Don't be shy. You don't have to be in the front row. You can be up in the balcony hiding. I used to hide in the balcony. It's a great place. Okay, so we're good. So yes, welcome, welcome. So good to have you. And what we would like to do now is an opening prayer and then what we call our statement of being and a song, Face of God, that we ask you to join us in. So I'd like to first bring up our opening prayer person, Kendara Laurel. Welcome, welcome. And then Anna Julia Rose will take us through the other 2 things. Come on around. It's part of the dance. You can dance on your way up too if you'd like.
Can you hear? Welcome, valued customers. Okay. Okay, I would love for you to close your eyes and connect with the spirit within, releasing anything which is weighing on your mind, at least for the moment, and tuning into this source. Focus on that which you want to manifest and lovingly release anything which would limit your ability to do this. And as you do this, give thanks for the opportunity to connect not only with the source, but also those around you who are also a part of source. And lovingly let go of any ideas or beliefs which might keep you from seeing this truth, and replace this with the highest and the best. For indeed, anything which appears to be contrary to truth is an illusion. It's just a false belief. And so you're lovingly and gently releasing it and replacing it with your divine truth of how it needs to manifest. And doing this, you are filled with the love, light, and healing necessary to connect and strengthen your connection with Spirit. And as we begin this morning's service, we allow only the highest and best, lovingly and confidently knowing it is so. And we allow ourselves also to think of any circumstances of ourselves, for ourselves, or others needing healing. And we send light and healing to them as well. And we ask Spirit to hear our prayers, that we may be better able to manifest the divine at all times and in all ways, and release this, knowing it is so, and so it is.
Okay, hi everybody. I want to put a little word in. I'm very happy we don't always start on time. I'm not an on-time person, so I appreciate the little bit of lateness so I can get here. Thank you. So we're going to read Althea's statement of being, and then we're going to sing a little ditty all together. The lyrics will be on the screen. So if you want to and you can, please stand, and we'll all do this together as a community. Okay. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Okay, keep standing. We're going to sing Face of God all together. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. We are a family. We are the face of God. Whew, thank you. I hold you in my heart. Thank you. Okay, if you want, you can sit down or stand or dance, but that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. So the next couple of things are that we have a featured musician. You'll get to hear a couple of times this morning. And then we will have a reading by Kevin Lockwood, who will then introduce our special guest speaker today. So we are pleased to welcome back our friend, Rebecca Folsom, and her friend, Sally Barris. Hello, welcome. Colorado singer-songwriter Rebecca Folsom believes every lyric, every note, every musical collaboration carries the potency to change the world. With her new recording Sanctuary, Rebecca is on a mission to do that one listener at a time. And you too. And he gets it. He totally gets it, Rebecca. And you may sing and dance too. Moving with ease through her 4-octave range, she plucks the instrument of the heart with tender fearlessness and fiery passion, all meant to awaken unfettered aliveness. Joining Rebecca today, we also welcome Sally Barris, a Nashville-based performing songwriter who has had songs covered by such top-level artists as Kathy Mattea, Martina McBride, and Leanne Womack. All right. Her song, Let the Wind Chase You, recorded by Trisha Yearwood and Keith Urban, dang girl, received a Grammy nomination for vocal collaboration in 2009. Wow. The Minnesota native has performed Mountain Stage, New Bedford Summerfest, Wildflower Arts and Music Festival, the Kerrville Folk Festival as well. In 2021, Sally released her current CD, Grasshopper Mile. So please help me give a warm welcome to Rebecca and Sally.
Thank you. And we added a third. We are growing in harmonies. This is Leanne Roberts with us too. This is a song off the Sanctuary album. It's the title track to it. And I co-wrote this with Sally and I and another woman, Kim Chryselius and Nick Forrester at E-Town. And we just released it in March, and I think I sang it like right after the release here. And it has now gone to #1 on the national folk charts and just won its first award out in California. We're going to be flying out for that. So we're super excited. And I'm so pleased because this music is, it's about one voice matters, right, little guy? Okay, here we go. One voice rising in the darkness. One voice, no matter how small. One voice, each of us together becomes the one voice of us all. One voice, one word, one choice. Love, show us how we can make a sanctuary, a safe refuge, a higher ground. One people living in one world, each act of love, show us how. And one world to be our brothers and sisters. One world, it's really rather small. One world, ours to care for. One world together, a sanctuary for all. One voice, one word, one choice, love. Show us how we can make a sanctuary, a safe refuge, a higher ground. One people living in one world, each act of love. Show us how. Every wall that we break down, every hand that reaches out, everywhere that love is found, we're building a new dream. Every garden that we tear, every broken heart we mend, every battle that we end, we're building a new dream. Every wall that we break down, every hand that reaches out, everywhere love is found, we're building a new dream. Every garden that we tend, every broken heart we mend, every battle that we end, we're building a new dream. Love, 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 show us how we can make a sanctuary, a safe refuge, a higher ground. One people, one world, each act of love. Show us how. New dream. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was beautiful. From Robert Adams. Feel that I am it. Pure awareness. I have always been it. There is never was a time when I was not it. The appearance of the body cannot fool me any longer. The world and all of its manifestations cannot fool me any longer. The universe, with its planets and galaxies and solar systems, cannot fool me any longer. I can see through these things to the source. And from Nona Brooks, it is by a process of resurrection that we rise out of the contemplation of that which is hidden, the mysteries, as we have called these, into the full light where everything is made clear. There is nothing hidden that shall not be revealed to the one who sees the unity of life. We are rising into a recognition of the glory of process when we stand before a blade of grass and see that even this is wonderful. And we are blessed to have as our guest speaker today, Kelly Robbins. She is passionate about inspiring each of us to cut fresh tracks in our lives. Kelly is a frequent contributor to the Science of Mind magazine and is the author of Trust Your Next Step, Creating the Confidence to Cut Fresh Tracks. She also produces the Fresh Tracks with Kelly Robbins podcast and publishes the Edge newsletter. Kelly believes that by living our divine purpose, approaching life as a fun adventure, and trusting our next step, we can all live lives filled with purpose and passion. Kelly is a mom of 3, a grandmother, an avid skier, and loves snuggling with her cat Aries. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. And congratulations on Christina and having a new minister. Yes. I've known Christina for probably 5 or 6 years. We met at Mile High Church in Lakewood, and I was standing at a desk, at a counter in the main lobby, and this woman walks up to me. She's filling paperwork out. She looked at me, and she said, "You have a podcast, don't you?" And I said, "I do." Checking out who is this person. And she said, "I'm Christina Jones. I would like to know you. We need to get to know each other." We went and had coffee and I think talked our ears off for 2 hours straight, and we've been friends ever since. And what a wonderful person to bring into your community. She's strong. She is very connected to her source and just takes action on it. It's a beautiful gift, just different qualities that she brings as a human being. So I'm really excited to see what happens here, and I'm really excited for you all. And today we're going to be talking about spiritual awakenings. What is a spiritual awakening, and what does that mean to you? I really like to have my talks be very personal and something you can walk away with. So by the end of our 20 minutes, my hope is that you'll have something going on in your life that you can apply this to. When I said spiritual awakening, some of you might have gone, "Oh, I've had those before." I can think of 1 or 2 or different times in my life where I've had one, and maybe not. What I ask is if there's something you're frustrated on in life, or there's a problem that you're having, perhaps bring that in to your thought today, and maybe today or in the next few weeks, something will shift with it if we bring that into the room right now. So a spiritual awakening. So I'm reading this Sufi book called Awakening. It's a beautiful book. And their definition of a spiritual awakening is a constant and ancient invitation throughout every moment of your life to trust and embrace exactly who you are. So think about that. Every moment of your life to trust and embrace exactly who you are. I know when I think of a spiritual awakening, I see in my head like the sun kind of breaking through the clouds and this revelation of something, this beautiful breakthrough. And that's not what they're describing it to be. They're describing it as embracing yourself exactly as you are in the moment. And I'd like to share a story with you. When I was 30 or 31, I had a moment. I was laying on the floor, my house. You walked in, there was like a railing that you could see the front door, and there was a lot of light. And I was laying there on the floor. I had 3 children, beautiful, healthy children, girls. I had a corporate job at UPS. I worked at that big brown trucking company for 13 years. I had a good job. We had a custom, beautiful home. Like it had you could fit 7 cars in the heated garage. Like I was going through my head doing this bullet list. I had a husband, we had new cars. At 30, I thought, gosh, I have all of these things. Like this bullet list sounds so great. And something, I was like, is this really it? Like, do I take my kids to school and rush to work? Stick more money in like we weren't gazillionaires or anything, but I thought, really, is this what I'm gonna do for the next 20 years? And I thought I had this emptiness inside me, and I just kept laying there on the floor thinking, this just can't be it. Because this kind of sucks, like this is boring to do this for the next 20 years. And I just sat there and just kind of let my thoughts go through and kept looking at my little bullet points. And then this thought came in and said, well, some people go to church. And I was like, no. Because at that point in my life, I was very not religious at all. Like it was a shut door no, and I still sat there not going to church. And then I thought, well, my mom used to have these Shirley MacLaine books that I kind of liked. I remember reading one of those, which wasn't really church. So I just kind of played around with that. And like any good daughter, I went to my mom's house and took it, which I still have that book. And that, I read the book and I thought, well, it was kind of, but I thought maybe there's something more than just the religion. And I had been Catholic as a child. Maybe there's something different, and explored spirituality versus religion. My next foray was Jerry and Esther Hicks was who I met next, and started reading their books and getting to know them. And you can see I stand here talking to you all in a church that it eventually led somewhere. But to me, that was a turning point in my life. I didn't know it now. 25 years later, I can look back and go, man, laying on the floor, the thoughts that came in my head, if I hadn't been so quick to shut out the church, I can look back at how many times there were things that popped up, messages that popped up, and I had such an immediate, strong no reaction to. And it was a journey unfolding things one at a time that, for me, that was a spiritual awakening, that knowing that this can't be all of it, that I don't want to spend the next 30, 20 years going through these busy motions and doing, even though I did what I was supposed to do. And you may have stories like that too. You may have had experiences like that. A spiritual awakening is a shifting from one perspective to another. A shifting from one perspective to another. There's no words in there about the sun shining on you and the beauty and the glory of the ease of this awakening. So if there's a circumstance in your life where you're frustrated, which I'm inviting you to bring in and play around with while we're here in this space, open it up that the source of your pain may be that you're not connected to your higher self in some way. And your opportunity to play is to say, well, what could that be? Where am I not connected to my higher self in this frustrating situation or this pain that I'm having? Because choosing to know your spiritual nature is a choice. Choosing to see where we're not in alignment with our spiritual nature is we have to choose to see it. We have to ask to see it. Like I was laying on the floor there going, this can't really be it, is it? Like, is this really, like I set it up? Is this what we do? Where can you open yourself up to see that? So I'd like to share another story. This is called the allegory of the cave. Some of you there's this whole world that none of them knew existed, and it's just beautiful, and he's awestruck. And it just takes time for him to realize that that world that they had all been living in was false, and that this was real. And he thought, oh my gosh, I need to go tell them. I need to go tell them that what's happening, and that this isn't true. So he goes back, and he at first goes back in the darkness, and it's painful again. It takes him a while to adjust to the dark that they're in. It takes him a while to reacclimate, and in fact, he can't, because you can't unknow what you know, right? You can't go back and be like, go back to who he was before. And he tells the other prisoners, look, you guys, there's this whole world, and he tells them, and they're like, they think he's crazy. Like, you are not. I mean, they actually, as the story goes, they wanted to kill him because what they were sharing with them were so unfathomable and unreasonable. It was just ridiculous, and they thought he was crazy. So the story goes on in Plato. There's many ways to examine that story, and the point I present to you is the pain you're having in life, that frustration. Where is it not really real? Like, where are you just seeing shadows? And what can you do knowing the truth of source, of the fullness of the universe, and the different qualities, the powerfulness that made the moon and the stars and the beautiful flowers and the music that we enjoyed so much, and me and you? How are we experiencing this pain or this frustration? Why? And what am I not seeing? So one visual way I like to show you how to do this, I do this in my coaching practices. I'm just going to play with you because you're right in front of me, but I see you, and I see my truth of my pain. This is what it looks like and what it feels like. And if I stand over here, I see you differently, and I see you from a different angle, and I have different insight. The light hits you differently. I see different people behind you. If I come over here, go way behind you, I can see you from a different perspective. And that is the goal that we want to take in our minds and our stories that we have going on in our the stories we have going on in our head is, how can I intellectually, or with my heart, how can I see it differently? And one thing that we do is we study. We're here to learn and explore and resonate with truth, with spirit. Whatever that means to you, we're here to learn and discover, which can be its own bucket. How do I embody that, and in my own life, my own sense of self, how do I see it differently? And I like me moving my physical body because you can understand what I'm saying. It's more difficult doing it with the story going on in your life, your struggle with your finances, or the consistent relationship problems you have, or health. How do I see it from a different place so that I can see things differently, which is the definition of a spiritual awakening, right? Seeing things from a different perspective. In that story, the allegory of the cave, Plato was explaining a spiritual awakening, and he was explaining how just because everybody else sees the world this way doesn't mean it's true. All of your friends, all your family, your community. And that might be a space you're into, and it might be why you're here today, is to meet other people who have the same seeking of truth, the same beliefs as you, so you can have conversations and explore things like spiritual awakening. So it's a time when something was revealed to you. And as I invite us to see things from a different perspective, I'd like to say that it takes courage to illuminate that spiritual nature within. And I throw out there optimism. Know that it's good and true and better. If we have this fatalistic view of what could be versus an optimistic view view of what could be, that's very different things, right? And how optimistic are you being? I have this beautiful quote from St. Francis of Assisi. I thought I was looking at the world, but the world was looking at me. I thought that was kind of an interesting perspective that we might be able to take on circumstances in our life where we're seeing pain or hurt or uncomfortableness or frustration, but it's really us reflecting that back. So, meditation is one common way that people intentionally try to create a spiritual awakening. And I want to explore meditation for just a moment because a lot of us here might meditate, and there's different intentions behind meditating. The Buddha taught that the only way to break free of the mental chains that keep us bound in ignorance and misery is to gain freedom from the personal I. I like that because we were talking about chains with Plato, for starters. I kind of went with it. And then we're chained to our thoughts, our connection with ourself and our pain. How do we undo that to get to that place where we're knowing and really immersing ourselves in that oneness? And meditation is one way to do that. The Sufis say that our commonplace thoughts and opinions blur our innate connection with the divine. And the Sufis teach meditation as a way to quiet the talking and break free of that, the conversations that are happening. In indigenous cultures, they have ceremonies to break us out of that thinking. Ayahuasca, yahe ceremonies, the use of psychedelics. I've done a couple, my oldest daughter is involved with the Kofan tribe out of Colombia, and they have ceremonies. I'm going to one next month. I've done two, where you have a drink, and you stay up all night, and you're with other people. And it's not to do the psychedelics necessarily. It's not even like on TV. And the whole thing is breaking you out of your everyday thinking through ritual and through experience and through that commonality of intention to see things, to see the world differently, to see our experiences differently. And meditation is important to bring up because it's so common now when we talk about mindfulness in Buddhism. We talk about mindfulness, and there's a difference between using meditation to be peaceful and lower our blood pressure and for health reasons, which has been a common way that meditation has been incorporated into society. And that's different than meditating to quiet the chatter and open ourselves to the voice of God or to our spiritual awakening. When I was laying on that floor in my house, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had let all my thoughts go, and it quieted down enough for some people go to church thought to come in. I had kind of emptied it. And I had been sat there for a while, and I had asked a question and just waited for the answer. I don't know if I waited optimistically or not. I had no expectation of anything coming in. And why does that matter? How we meditate, or that we set the space for these spiritual awakenings or these truths to come in, is because we have a choice each day to be more connected with the divine or to be less connected with the divine. You know, we have all of our technology and movie, we're just always doing things, listening in the car. Are we doing things intentionally that connect us or that disconnect us? And then finally, our spiritual awakening and our future self. First thing is the belief or the understanding that the future is not something we endure, it's something we're creating, co-creating, creating. We're not there passively enduring the future. And a spiritual awakening, just on a high level, It's not necessarily about just returning to that original state of oneness with the universe or oneness with the divine. It is about looking at our life experiences and saying, how have I evolved? What qualities of God express themselves in these frustrations, in this pain, in these experiences? And assessing, what's my life, what has happened here? How have I changed? It's not just about knowing that feeling, it's about knowing that we're part of the expansion, the evolution, the expression of the universe. Do you know what I mean? Taking the time to look at that. You know, as I sat here and shared my bullet points with you and how life has evolved, I'm here a minister, well, Wednesday I'll be hopefully a minister. 2 more days. What I didn't know was all my little bullet points, every one of them was disassembled and fell apart. The house, the marriage, the car, all of it had to, all of the things that I did that were just so right had to come apart and totally get rearranged for me to be standing here, Kelly, the almost minister, 25 years later. You know what I mean? And if I had known that back then, I might have stayed at that job and kept that, it was painful and it was ugly and messy and but here I am and I don't have that feeling ever of, is this it? Like that feeling's gone. I feel very fulfilled. And you may have stories like that too, or experiences like that. So, a spiritual awakening is not a goal or destination. It is a constant invitation to embrace yourself exactly as you are in all your glorious imperfection. There is no destination, there's just now. There's just the here and now. And with that, I will invite us to close our eyes and let's kind of deepen into that knowing of ourselves as one with the divine. That knowing that we have this innate, harmonious, beautiful, natural connection with all that is. With the powers and the love that created all of the different aspects of the galaxy and the universe and the stars and asteroids, to the cats and dogs and rabbits and the sand on the earth, to each and every one of us and our experiences and moments in life. That right here and right now, in this moment, we are one with that loving, beautiful energy. And we can take a breath and just relax, knowing that truth. We can take a breath and relax, knowing that whatever frustration or pain we brought up in this time together here today at the Althea Center in Denver, that we have invited open and insight into the changing our perception and knowing the truth of ourselves in this situation, that we have opened the doors for healing, for expansion and growth, for us to know even more of ourselves and how we express as the divine. I give thanks to know these truths. I give thanks for the beauty and ease with which all our desires and wishes and abundance unfolds. As I give thanks, I release this word to the law, knowing without a shadow of a doubt that as these words are spoken and these truths are embraced and known and released, it is done. And so it is. Thank you.
When I leave there From dawn to dusk in the sun's keep. Moonrise watches while it sleeps. It grows and fades in mystery. When I leave this world, I will leave on time. Not 1 minute early, not one behind. My Maker has counted every day, every joy, every pain, every breath I will take. I know my soul knows more than me, and it knows where I need to be. Raindrop to river to the sea, mist to cloud to rain on me. When I leave this world, I will be on time. Not 1 minute early, not one behind. My Maker has counted every day, every joy, every pain, every breath I will take. Bone to ash and ash to dust, dust to stars, and stars to us. When I leave this world, I will be on time. Not 1 minute early, not one behind. My Maker has counted every day, every joy, every pain, every breath I will take. Every joy, every pain, every breath I will take.
Wow. Just wow. And what I think is especially cool about that song is we've all heard dust to dust, ashes to ashes, and then it ends in the good Catholic way, right? But no, you took it back up to the stars and back up to us because we're stardust, and there we go. Woo, I love it. Thank you. So now is that time when we ask you to come back down to earth and remember exactly that the way to keep the lights on, the way to pay staff, the way to do the beautiful things that we've done is to, in a very earthly way, give back to us financially. So this is when we pass the basket, a literal basket, for those of you who still remember what cash is, or checks, or jewelry. Go ahead and throw that in the basket. We're going to be passing those around. And then we also have new tech ways of giving. And so in the back, we have what's called a dip jar, which is a touchless way with your credit card to dip in there and give a little bit of money, or give $10 every time you do that dip. It may pay off like Las Vegas. We don't know. So keep trying. And then, of course, you can always go online. And let me show you in the program that you were handed, you have a handy dandy QR code. So right now, this is the one time where we say take out your phone and use the QR code there. to go through a little form that will take a donation, you can always go to our website. In fact, everything that I'm going to talk to you about later with announcements, know that you can learn at our website. So many ways to give, and we appreciate that you appreciate that as divine and wonderful as it is here, we do still need financial contributions. So we thank you for that. So ushers, keep doing your thing. Give people time to find that cash. I'm MC today, so I could just keep my cash in my wallet. No, I'll be clear. Oh, and do what I do, and many of us do, an evergreen, right? You set it up with your bank, it auto drafts, no muss, no fuss, a little bit comes out every month. So that's really what we also love. That's easy peasy. So we'll have the ushers come to the front, and then we ask all of you to help us affirm the statement that is up there, because this is important to us. So we would ask you to recite with us. The universe provides all that I need and all that I give. With great joy, I share my prosperity, planting seeds for a world I am helping manifest. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, ushers. And now we have a special part of our program that we call Prayers of the People. So this is an opportunity if you know someone who needs affirmative prayer. We are big believers at the Althea Center because of our foundation in what is called divine science, that prayer can actually make a difference out in the world. This may be a prayer for you that you need help with, or someone you know. All we ask, if it is for someone you know, is that keep it confidential. As far as a last name, we would like the person's first name, your name, person's first name, and what you would like us to pray about. Only their last name, if they have said that, is okay. And know also, if you want to keep this more personal, right after services, we do have affirmative prayer. Who are our affirmative prayer? Kendara is our person right here who did our reading. You can have a one-on-one affirmative prayer with her. You can also be super anonymous and go online, because we have a form that you can fill out there. So later, if you would like to have an affirmative prayer set up, you can do that. But for now, if you would raise your hand, Michael's got one, we'll get you a microphone.
Thank you. I had a strange experience yesterday. I was exiting Costco.
Yeah, can't quite hear you. Yeah, right in.
I was exiting Costco, and a young lady who I've seen forever there stopped to tell me that about a month ago, it was July 14th, her daughter was the subject of a drive-by shooting where they fired 140 rounds into her house, and she took 14 and died, of course.
Oh, goodness.
And I was just shocked and amazed that this lady decided to share that with me, but she says, I know you're spiritual, so I'm sharing this with you for that reason. I just wish to keep her in our prayers and the soul of her daughter, of course. God bless.
Do we have a first name at all? No.
The first name of the lady is Amy, Amy, but I don't know her last name.
No, we don't need last name, so we've got it. And Rick is writing all of this down, so it will actually go through the prayer partner group. That'd be a special prayer. Who else, please? Raise your hand. Here we go.
Hello, my name's Grace. I'd like to pray for my partner, Nick, who is long distance in Minnesota right now. He's struggling with a complex back injury that's been really debilitating, and likewise also struggling with depression right now. So I'd like to pray for his physical and emotional healing.
Thank you. All right, who is next? Oh, we got it right there. Oh, yep.
I would like to pray for my mom, or get a prayer for my mom. Her first name is Nicole. She's going through a really tough time, as a lot of us are, and so she needs that.
We'll do it. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole. All right, who else? I think there was someone else that had their hand up. Somebody? Anybody up at height of the balcony? Okay, and again, there's still many of other ways that it pops up in your mind. And we also like, before you put those microphones away, I love to hear how something turned out for somebody. If you had a prayer for you or someone you know, anyone wants to share that now, this is a great time to hear the next step. Anybody? Oh, Alice, there we go.
Well, thanks for that reminder.
Yes.
Opportunity. So I brought up my son Ben several times, and this forum, and I did hear from him. So,
Yay.
thank you.
Yay. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. Anybody else follow up to affirmative prayer? Well, I can do one right now because Mark Upshaw is sitting right there. Wave your hand. He's still got his, let's call it necklace. But we did a lot of praying for you, my brother, and you are looking good. Welcome. Oh, and he's going to say something.
So, Ginny, thank you. And I just have a great comment, open heart of gratitude for this community. I appreciate your prayers. I had a major, severe neck injury on a bicycle accident, and there's still more to go. I need to have surgery in a while. But thank you so much, everyone.
Yes. Yes, you're so welcome.
Thank you, Ginny.
Yes. All right. Okay, so thank you, everyone. As we move into the end of our service, what we like to talk about now are some announcements. Every Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12:30, you can still be part of a virtual group that has a discussion led by Kathy Humphreys. She will wave her arm there in the back. So this group helps us stay connected to one another, shares openly, and discusses a wide variety of spiritual and inner reflective topics. So you can zoom on into that on Thursdays at 11. And today, if you have never been bathed by the vibrations of a gong, we have a gong bath right on this stage. I would highly encourage you to stay and do that. It is an amazing experience. We do this once a month, every month with Greg Wilkins, and today is that Sunday. You still have plenty of time to talk, to have lunch with us, and at 12:30 you will come back into the sanctuary and join Greg for a gong bath. And Arik, I'm going to have you come up last, because I know you're going to give an announcement for us on what you're doing. And yay, integrative yoga is back. It took a little break over the summer, woohoo, but Belinda is back in action on August 31st. And this is a great time, she says, to resolve and heal any issues related to excessive thinking, worrying and anxiety, and feeling a lack of support or nourishment. So come to her 5-class series, August 31st through September 28th. This will be in person here on Thursdays in the evening. So come back to Althea at 5:30 p.m. on Thursdays. And you can go to our website to learn all about that and how to sign up for that. And we also want to say that we are still on our 100-year campaign. Our goal is a big, mighty, audacious goal of $100,000 by the end of the year, but we are over 2/3 of the way there. So we just need to get that last 30,000. So dig deep, write a check for that on top of all the good things you do for us financially, because we want to hit that 100,000 by the end of the year. As I say, the website and the program that you got tells you other things that are going on, and you can always check in with that. Now, before I bring Arika up to give us a personal announcement about a book club she's starting, anything else? Oh, real quick, I should have checked in first. Are you doing what's called a deep dive with us after? Have those words even been mentioned to you? No. So let's assume no. We'll get you next time. We'll get you next time. Traditionally, things have been a little bumpy because we do not have a whole month of guest speakers anymore. We have our wonderful spiritual director. But normally the person who speaks on a Sunday goes into what we call a deep dive around 12:30, where a small discussion group goes into the topic of what was brought up. But I won't put you on the spot because you probably have plans. But we'll make sure next time that we do that. It's a big part of being able to share the message. So no deep dive today. Again, right after this, prayer partners beyond that wall. Join us in the dining room for an amazing lunch. And then stick around for the vibrations of the gong bath. And Arika, I'm going to have you go ahead and come on up and tell us about the book club.
Continuing the spirit of first the prayers of the people, I will say I'm very thankful. My book group has started. It started last Thursday. The good news for those of you who weren't there is, thanks to my not really being totally aware of the scheduling, the initial meeting was more of getting to know the few people that were there, and it will be kind of continuing and acknowledging that we have a holiday coming up. I allow any more time, or more time for you. But I would also like to say an acknowledgement of today's topic of awakening and getting to know who we are. I am celebrating something big this week. I have just completed writing my book and have turned it over to a reviewer to write the intro. But continuing more on inspiration, on my book group, we will be reading this book. It is about awakening. It's one of the sequels to A Course in Miracles, which I describe as very content-focused, a bit difficult to read. This one, you can see, is not a small book, and yet, when I started reading it, I was so inspired and so touched that I read it almost non-stop. And I think if you join my book group, you will find it similarly very, very touching and helpful for you. So I hope you can join me, and it seems like we're doing everything on Thursday. So Thursday afternoon, 2 o'clock in Dartmouth Stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Arica. And before we wrap it up with a community song that's going to be led by Daryl Johnson, and Rick Stanton will be on piano, and then a closing prayer by Luis Ferreterillos. Before we go there, I want to have one last big round of applause for Kelly Robbins. Thank you so much. And next time, will we be saying Reverend? Yeah. Kelly Robbins, whoopee! One more round of that. That's huge. And then for the three songstress, musicians, songwriters who graced our stage, thank you so much. Thank you. Ah, we love you too, and you'll be back. You'll be back. And also, we'll do one last round of applause for all the folks who make Sundays happen. It starts long before you walk through this door, long before you get that newsletter in the middle of the week that tells you what's happening. We have folks who get here nice and early, who go grocery shopping to make our lunch happen. And Luis, who will be doing the closing prayer, is your volunteer coordinator. He's the man who makes all this happen. And so if you would like to volunteer and help us out in another way besides the basket, oh boy, would we love to have your helping hands. So one last little plug there for volunteering. And with that, I would like to say thank you, and let's bring on up our community song leaders.
Good morning. Good morning. I'd actually like to say just a little something before the song. I'm raising money for AIDS Walk Colorado, the 36th annual AIDS Walk Colorado. And the reason I'm raising money is for the last 26 years, Chesney Klein John Apartments has been a partner agency of AIDS Walk Colorado. And Chesney Klein John is where I've been a resident manager for the last 26 years. So it's a project very near and dear to my heart. But 6 years ago, it became even more significant. In 2017, Tim Wilson and his newly formed Mariposa program they were on my Chesney Klein John team to help me raise funds that year. And that was the first time I came to Althea. It was in July of 2017. So this is my 6-year anniversary of Althea. And thank you, Tim, who's here bringing me to Althea to help fundraise for AIDS Walk. If you would like to help me this year, I have a table at the back. If you just leave your name and your email address, I can send you a link to my personal donation page. So that's my little spiel. And this morning we're going to do I Can See Clearly Now as our community song. So please stand as you're able and join me in I Can See Clearly.
Okay, now for our closing prayer, you can sit or stand however you want. You close your eyes or keep them wide open. And we say, to the creator of infinite names, we say thank you. We are grateful for this sanctuary, where only the highest and the best of ourselves have come together in love and harmony. We affirm that Kelly's words, Rebecca, Sally, and Leanne's music are planted deep within our hearts. Each prayer today has blessed and protected us. And we are grateful for this too. And we accept that ancient and constant invitation to see only with the loving eyes of God. And we say yes to that invitation. We step back out into the world, being and seeing only God. So repeat after me. I am an instrument of peace. And so it is. Have an awesome day.
Oh, never. No.
Well, I don't need it. Nice to have you here on this side. Oh, yeah. You know, that's